We might want to make a move to invite you into the present video, in which we'll discuss ongoing moves taken by Japan against China in the contested islands. As Japan plans for the capability of battle with a more solid China on its lines, the nation is setting out on the biggest military development it has embraced since the finish of the Second Great War. Considering late improvements in Russia and North Korea, Japan is setting up a demonstration of power with expectations of deterring China from participating in a furnace struggle. In any case, the inquiry is, will this discouragement be successful, or will it lead to the contention that Japan is attempting to stay away from? On Japan's islands close to Taiwan, some of the locals are worried that the construction of new military bases there will turn their territory into a conflict zone. This is one of their primary concerns. These islands are the location of a new front line that Japan is actively reinforcing. These bases are home to a special military force called the Amphibious Rapid Deployment Brigade. This brigade is made of personnel who have been trained to launch attacks from the sea, making it a very unusual military formation. They were founded exactly 5 years ago, following a string of contentious conflicts with Beijing on islands in the East China Sea that were considered to be contested territory. Major Shingo Nishinoki, who serves as the unit's commander, recently discussed the mission of the group in an interview with ABC News. Since the finish of World War II, the US and Japan have kept areas of strength, and American armed forces establishments in Japan, like the Sasebo Sea Base, have filled in as the foundation of Japan's protection from that point onward. By the by, a prosperous China represents a danger to the domineering position held by the US in the locale, and this development is igniting warned banter in Japan. There is a developing worry in Japan that it comes up short on assets important to successfully deal with the potential dangers presented by China, and this disquiet is simply going to deteriorate over the long run. Assuming the US becomes engaged with Taiwan and Japan gives any sort of help, even as back region support, then, at that point, China will begin going to retaliatory links against the US bases that are situated in Japan. Ishigaki is a Japanese island that may be found in the Okinawan region of the country. It is fewer than 300 kilometers away from Taiwan, which is one of Japan's most important allies, and this closeness gives it strategic importance to Japan. In addition to its popularity as a vacation spot, the island of Ishigaki is home to a population of people who make their living fishing and growing fruit, including Ryutaro Kinjo. Despite this, the presence of a sizable construction site in the neighborhood has been a source of contention and conflict among the residents. When construction is finished, the military installation will provide housing for around 600 servicemen, in addition to housing missile and ammunition storage. The Okinawan Islands have a background marked by being trapped in clashes between significant military powers, which has had a permanent impact on the nearby populace. The Society of Grannies to Protect Life and Livelihood is led by Setsuko Yamazato, an activist who has been active for many years. Every Sunday, she and her friends participate in a protest against the construction of a new military installation, during which they shout in the Okinawan language. They're concerned that if a missile site is built, it will be the first target that hostile forces will attempt to take down. The purpose of Japan's military is deterrence, which entails communicating to China, "We do have these capabilities. This is the price that you could have to pay if you choose to act in a way that goes against what we desire for you." As per surveys, by far, most individuals are supportive of expanding the size of the military, yet there is critical resistance to expanding duties to pay for it. Some knowledgeable individuals believe that these new bases are merely for show and that they will provoke China. Ryutaro Kinjo has decided to take on the job of convincing the city council to hold a vote in which people in the area would be asked if they want a military post to be built or not. Depending on how the vote goes, it will be clear whether or not the people in the area want a military base. Be that as it may, both the city chamber and the chairman are against the thought, and the degree of disquiet they feel about it is developing as the development of the base draws nearer. Japan's recent actions against China on its islands suggest that it's preparing for a future clash. However, it's uncertain whether this deterrence will be successful or instead will result in the conflict that Japan is seeking to avoid from occurring. The rising strains among China and Japan, as well as China's growing military strength, have introduced another time of vulnerability over the sum of the area. This new era of uncertainty has been brought about as a direct result of both of these factors. As long as the two countries keep threatening each other and making armed moves, a fight can't be ruled out. The circumstance is delicate, and any error could prompt a conflict that would be unfavorable to the two nations and the district all in all.